Hey there, and welcome to Run Your Heart Out. I'm Janelle Hazlitt, and today I'm going to be talking to you about race week. So, it is race week for myself and many of us here in the Pacific Northwest as we get ready to head down to Winthrop, Washington for one of our favorite trail races of the season, our season opener, Sun Mountain 50K. This race is held by Rain Shadow Running. If you haven't run any of their races before, we highly recommend it. They have always a great time at their finish lines with beer and pizza, and their events are always fantastic. So check them out if you haven't. So what does race week mean for myself? Race week, there's 6 things that I like to really keep in mind during race week. Those 6 things are eating well, sleeping well, hydrating, meditating, being organized, and having fun. So, from the top, it's really important for me when I head into race week and the few weeks leading up to race week to just be trying to fuel my body the best way possible while I'm training, and especially before and after training runs, and especially in the week leading up to races. I want to head into my races knowing that I have been fueling my body well and I'll have the proper energy that I need for race day. Some fun things that I incorporate in race week are lots of beets and beet juice to try to just increase my blood oxygenation. It's one of those tricks and tips. Look it up. Look up the research. It's a pretty cool thing to test out as an endurance athlete. I also am really on top of making sure that I'm taking my iron supplements leading into race week, as that's something that I struggle with. Sometimes having some issues with low blood iron stores. So those are a few things that I really try to keep on top of when I head into my races. The next thing is sleeping well. Especially in the week of race, I am pretty bad at staying up too late, but I really try to kick that in the butt during race week so that every night I'm trying to get an appropriate amount of sleep. And again, I'm going into my race feeling strong and really well rested. During race week, number 3, it's really important that you hydrate a lot, especially if you know, like Sun Mountain is, that you are going to be racing a pretty hot race and have potential to be dehydrated. I like to, in the week of my race, really stay on top of hydrating well. So I always make sure that I've got my water bottle by me and I have it filled up multiple times throughout the day, and I try to drink and finish it up many times every day leading into race. Number 4, meditating or having some mindfulness in the week. For many of us, races, especially if it's your first ultra or your first trail race, or it's a race in a different location, it can sometimes be stressful, exciting, but stressful. So one thing that I like to do during the week leading into my races is to just spend some extra time trying to meditate, think about what that race means to me, think about what race strategies I might implement on that day, or what I'm going to do for my hydration, my nutrition, for staying cool and calm. And I just also like to spend some time just finding some calm in my week and making sure that I'm not too stressed out leading up to my race day. I like to bottle up that excitement because that can be super helpful on race day, but on the flip side, I also like to make sure that that doesn't turn into negative stress, because negative stress leading into events, especially that you really care about, can sometimes jeopardize how well we might be able to do during our race. So number 5 is being organized, especially if you're traveling for races. I spend some time in the weeks leading up to my race, and especially the week of my race, to make sure I've got everything I need. If your race isn't in the same country, you might not be able to have access to the fuel that you usually use when you're training and racing. So always try to stay as organized as you can leading into a race, especially an ultra or a bigger distance race where what you use for your fueling is super important. I will make myself out a race plan, and I will sit with my crew and make sure they know what my needs will be for race day and the different strategies I plan to use and what gear I'll be needing. And then on top of that, early in the week, I try to make sure I pack everything up so I know that I'm not missing a vest or a pair of shorts or socks. I've done it. I've gone into races missing key gear, and it does not feel nice. So I've learnt the hard way to make sure I spend some time the week of my races to pack everything up early, double, triple check, make my lists. So I have all the fuel I need, I have my hydration bottles, I have my vests or whatever amount of gear I'm planning on using. I have my running shoes, because I have been known to leave running shoes behind for races or runs, which is not important or not a good idea. So be organized, and especially have your travel plan set if you know that you have to drive down to your race, or of course if you're catching flights and stuff. The more that those things are taken care of, the less, again, stress that you will have leading into your event, and especially if you've got a lot invested in that event and you're super excited about it. You don't want these little things to maybe take away from what that day could be for you. So last but certainly not least, and certainly most important, is have fun. I love racing so much. This weekend is going to be so amazing. We've got more than 14 to 15 runners from our local trail running community who are going down to toe the line for Sun Mountain 50K. We've got multiple people in that who are running their first 50K, and it's just going to be so exciting. Races are such a fun time to see friends that maybe you haven't seen for a while, especially if it's a race you're traveling for. It's a way just to put to work all of the hard training that you've done leading up to this point, and just to see what you can do. And it's also, for many of us, it's a way to see perhaps a new area that you've never ran in before in an organized way with some pretty amazing people and some awesome aid stations. Rain Shadow will do that for you. But yeah, races are so much fun. I love them so much, no matter how they go. But especially when we come into it with a great attitude and are just so ready to have some fun with it and just smile and make the most of the day no matter what lows might come, then we know that it's going to be so worth it. So those are my 6 different tricks and my 6 different things that I really like to focus on during race week. I'm super excited to see all of you guys down in Winthrop this coming weekend. Remember, hydrate. It's gonna probably be hot, who knows, but it's always usually hot down at Sun Mountain 50K. So get yourself organized, get yourself hydrated, and head on down there. I can't wait to see you all and have such a fun time during the race, at the start of the race, and especially with those beer and pizzas at the finish line. So take care, guys. Can't wait to see you, and happy race week.